we'd like to introduce Pam Muñoz Ryan.
Thank you. I am so happy to be with you today. I will start and then I will explain a little bit more. So this is Mañanaland, and this is the very first few pages of the story. 1. Somewhere in the Americas, many years after Once Upon a Time, and long before Happily Ever After, a boy climbed the cobbled steps of an arched bridge in the tiny village of Santa Maria in the country of the same name. He bounced a football on each stone ledge. In the land of 100 bridges, this was his favorite. When he was only a baby, Papa, a master stone mason and bridge builder, had carved his name on the spandrel wall for all to see. Maximiliano Cordova. On his bridge, Max liked the going up of it. He liked that when he reached the threshold, the deck breached Rio Bobonado in a long, bumpy alley. He dropped the ball and dribbled it toward the middle of the deck, bouncing it off the sides of his Duste Huarache sandals. Here above the keystone, he could see all of his world before him and the river below, curving away from Santa Maria, looping back and curving away again. He moved his hand to mimic the river's erratic path as it circled the islets and giant boulders. Why was Rio Bobonado so indecisive? Max glanced over his shoulder to make sure Papa hadn't caught up. Once, he whispered, a gargantuan serpent, as wide as 20 houses and as long as 3 states, could not decide whether to slither west toward the ocean or east toward the mountains. As soon as a serpent chose one direction, the other seemed far more appealing. Back and forth it went, sidewinding across the earth, its body leaving a huge chasm in its wake. The chasm eventually filled with rain and became the river. Satisfied, Max smiled. This was his favorite spot to make up stories and wonder about big and bewildering things. How long it would take to grow up and become a man, if he would ever see what lay beyond the horizon, and why his mother left, and whether he'd ever meet her. Max knew that Papa didn't like big questions of any kind, especially ones about the past or the future. Some of them even seemed to cause him pain. Max couldn't count the times Papa had instructed him to stand firmly in the reality of today, or life will only disappoint you tomorrow. He pushed Papa's words aside and gazed out at the village. The more prominent houses, green, yellows, blues, hugged the riverbanks. The spire of the chapel, Our Lady of Sorrows, pointed toward the heavens. Citrus orchards and grape fields bordered the outskirts of town. Nestled in the foothills on dirt roads, modest white stone cottages perched like patient doves at roost. Max shaded his eyes until he spotted his. Was Buelo already cooking dinner with Lola at his side, begging for scraps? He let his gaze continue upward toward a jagged cliff where a stone tower loomed. Everyone called the stronghold La Reina Gigante, the giant queen, because she looked like the most powerful piece on the chessboard. Max loved that wherever he went in Santa Maria, he could see at least the merlins and crenels of her crown, as if she was always watching over him. He even had a faint memory of sitting at her feet while red blossoms rained upon him. Had it been a dream? The palace surrounding La Reina Gigante had once been majestic too, but that was decades before the cannons of ancient armies demolished the roof. An earthquake unsteadied the walls, and a war in the neighboring country of Abismo forced legions of people to flee a dictator, using the ruins as a safe place to hide. Some said these hidden ones were poor innocents, women and children. Others said they were malicious criminals, filthy beggars, and the unwanted. No one had ever seen a hidden one to know for sure, but it was rumored that their spirits returned each year on the wings of the peregrine falcon. Sometimes when heavy mist shrouded the hills and Santa Maria fell silent, their ghosts could be heard whispering prayers to the giant queen for her protection and guidance, as if she was a saint or a guardian angel. Everyone knew someone who had heard them. So Mañanaland is a story of Max, and he lives in Santa Maria with his father and his grandfather and his giant dog, Lola. And there are a lot of secrets surrounding his life. And the story is how he discovers all of these buried family secrets and the journey that he goes on with the hope that he might hold tomorrow in the palm of his hand.